25 years, I got to be the Nebraska head coach and had a lot of great experiences through all that. And one of the reasons we're here is I got involved in horses. And I mainly did it for two reasons. One, I wanted to get a hobby and do something that I wouldn't think about in Nebraska volleyball. And second of all, I wanted to learn how to be a better coach. And I thought horses could help me do that. And the people helping me to learn how to rope would coach me. And it would help me figure out what really works, what I really want to hear, how do I want to be coached. So I'm this volleyball coach slash grandfather now and slash cowboy.
Thank you for joining us for Riding into Retirement the John Cook Way, sponsored by Pinner Bathing of Aurora. I'm Ginger Bensel, and over the next half hour, I want to share my exclusive one-on-one interview with the Husker coaching legend at the Pitzer Ranch in Erickson, Nebraska. We begin with an overall look at where things stand for Cook today, and we ride our way through his story to his current role, helping promote the UNL rodeo team. From coaching outside hitters and middle blockers in front of more than 90,000 people inside Memorial Stadium, to roping steers at the famed Pitzer Ranch in a town of just a little more than 90 people, there's nowhere else retired Husker volleyball coach John Cook would rather be.
I discovered this place, and it's now, I think, one of my favorite places to go to. I come here whenever I possibly can.
John Cook stepped away from Husker volleyball following the 2024 season so he could spend more time with his family and step further into the rodeo world he's fallen in love with.
Well, I think the most important thing is that I'm happy and still challenging myself, and I'm learning a new thing and meeting all these great people, which is one of the things that you need to do in retirement.
While he serves as general manager and co-owner of the Omaha Supernovas, this trip from his Wyoming ranch back to the Cornhusker State included grabbing a saddle and a rope in the tiny town of Erickson, Nebraska, as a way to challenge a man who's won 4 national volleyball championships.
My stomach's in knots over this. This is nerve-wracking.
And coach some of the best teams of a generation.
All this roping and riding has helped me have a growth mindset, which is what I preached to our players for years. You know, how are you always getting better? You have to have a growth mindset. You got to try to go to the next level. So this is really, I have to have a growth mindset because I'm learning something. Every day I learn something when I'm out here with these guys.
Thanks to the owners of the Pitzer Ranch, I had a chance to ride horses with Cook during our visit, and he says he wants to shine a light on not only the sport of rodeo in Nebraska, but also the UNL rodeo team.
It could be a great team at Nebraska. These kids have nothing. I see how hard they work. So to me, there's a soft spot in my heart to want to try to help.
The second annual 2026 John Cook Roping Classic is set for April, but on this day, the man whose statue stands outside the Devaney Center continued to test himself on horseback with a goal of setting the sport of rodeo in Nebraska up for success. When we come back, a look at John Cook's childhood, from how he ended up coaching volleyball to a love of horses that has been in his blood much longer than he ever knew.
I'm here with Ginger. Whoops.
Hey, that would have been good. Welcome back. One of my favorite things about doing this story was asking John Cook for an exclusive one-on-one interview at the Pitzer Ranch in Erickson, Nebraska. And without hesitation, he said yes. And as I learned during our hour-long conversation and spending much of the day riding horses with the coach, that volleyball may be his identity to most, but he's most comfortable on a horse, roping his way into the future.
I was, born in Chula Vista, California, to 2 parents who were still in high school. So we really were just surviving.
John Cook is doing much more than just surviving today. He's thriving as he walks through the doors of the famous Pitzer Ranch. He's grown accustomed to being interviewed by a lot of people and meeting a lot of reporters. But he's thankful for his childhood and the way he was raised. And he says not having a lot of money growing up taught him a lot of great life lessons.
life was good. We camped because, you know, I don't think I stayed in a hotel till maybe I was playing sports in college.
Cook would go on to stay in countless hotels over his amazing career, but he's never forgotten the work ethic his dad taught him as a young boy.
Anything I wanted, I had to work for. So I remember I started selling vegetables, grew a garden, sold vegetables around the neighborhood in a little wagon. So I was the first, you know, Amazon delivery guy. And I saved up money to buy my first motorcycle. Then I saved up money to buy my first car.
That mentality holds true today as he works on advancing his roping skills. That same mindset kicked off his coaching career in the sport of football in the San Diego area at a young age. But to get a full-time teaching job, he had to shift gears.
They said, you got to coach the girls' sports, not football. I was getting married, so I took it. And that's what all I wanted to do, and I was doing that. And then from there, things started happening. I got involved with USA Volleyball. I got involved with the club program. Next thing I know, I'm an assistant at Nebraska. Next thing I know, I'm coaching in the Olympics. Next thing I know, I'm at University of Wisconsin, and then I get the chance to come back to Nebraska.
Cook captured 4 national titles, led the Huskers to the Sweet 16 24 times, and won 772 matches, all during his quarter century at the helm in Lincoln. That's on top of the 161 matches he won at Wisconsin, combined making him the 5th winningest collegiate coach ever. But those achievements come with sacrifice.
You got to remember, in coaching, you know, it's 7 days a week for 6 months. So I miss out on a lot of things. I missed a lot of birthdays. I missed, you know, Lauren won 3 state championships. I missed 3 of those. My son played football. I got to go to, you know, his last senior game because I missed a volleyball match. So now I get to do all those things. So to me, that's one of the most important things.
And what is today's competition? What is it called?
This is the Halloween roping they're doing kind of out in this area. And, you know, you're supposed to wear a costume. So I didn't know I was going to even rope today. I mean, I was coming out to Cowboy with Mark, and they told me, hey, we're having a roping today. So you go, want to be in it? I go, heck yeah, I want to be in it. You got a horse? So I got to get used to him in there too. So.
Oh yeah, sure.
You know, when you're roping, you got to be in rhythm with your horse.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about the 415 horse. I'm just like, when the first time I rode him, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is just like, he's so smooth. I mean, I just felt in such a great rhythm and moving with him like as one.
Just like butter.
Yeah.
Just like perfect,
Yeah.
huh?
As you're roping, you know, it's all about rhythm and being with your horse and being in sync, and for me to be able to throw good. So I'm learning a whole new skill, which is great, because I think as you get older, and now that I'm retiring, I've got something that's challenging me to continue to work hard and get better and try to improve at, even though I didn't grow up with it.
Husker coaching legend John Cook may not have been raised riding horses, but he recently learned the idea of riding may be more in his blood than he ever knew.
I really believe, and I've said this several times, I think horses are spiritual animals. And as all this started happening, when I did the documentary with ESPN 2 years ago, they asked me to pull out some old pictures of when I was a kid. So I went through our photo albums, and both my mom and dad are passed away, but I started seeing all these pictures of my mom on horses, my dad on horses, when he was like a kid.
That love of horses his parents had has definitely been passed down to Cook, even if it took a while before he grabbed the reins. Now he's hooked.
Ginger, I started with one trail horse, and now my son and I and Mark Ray now own 7 horses. So, you know, they told me, like, you're going to have to get another one. And then they said, it's like popcorn. You can't stop.
Do you practice a lot with the
We try to rope every day, and I practice on the dummy every chance I can get. Try to do it every day. Well, I just gotten Reba.
That's where the beginning was.
Yeah, and that's where we got Reba because I wanted to get a second horse, but I got Reba, and I realized, oh, we can rope on Reba. She's been roped on, so that's kind of like, let's start this.
Cook is sinking himself into his horses, especially as he continues to get better at roping, an activity that strengthens his bond with his son. Plus, it also gives him an opportunity to find out what he doesn't want to do when it comes to the sport of rodeo.
My neighbor heals, Taylor and I head, but Taylor's learning how to heel, so it works out great.
So what is your specialty, heading or heeling?
I'm a header.
Do you see any wrestling, steer wrestling in the future?
No, those guys are nuts.
While John Cook will stick with roping and riding.
Well, I got a horse I've never ridden, so got to get used to him, but I did a pretty good run there, so hopefully I'll build off of that.
He says it's not just his son that's into horses, but his granddaughter is into horses as well.
She was in cowgirl camp all summer. So once a week she goes with this lady and a couple other kids. They pick what horse they want to ride, they groom them, they feed them, they do everything, and she loves it.
Which is what John Cook says makes horses and horse riding so special to him, solidifying the connection to his family.
The most important thing is I get to do this with my son and my granddaughter, and I see how much they love it.
Still ahead, a look at how John Cook is turning his volleyball success into a way to build up the UNL rodeo team. Plus, a look back on how one of Coach Cook's best players he's ever coached helped him land one of this year's most powerful hitters. If not the most successful volleyball programs in the United States. In retirement, John Cook is taking his name and stature he built through volleyball and using it to help another team on campus saddle up into its own bright future.
You're getting me fired up on horses.
Horses, roping, and the UNL rodeo team are at the forefront of John Cook's mind. Cook is using his name to shine a spotlight on the college rodeo team at the University of Nebraska.
University of Nebraska.
The team itself has 7 decades of tradition, but there's nowhere for its members to keep a horse on campus. Cook is working to change that, and then some.
God gave me a mission, so why not help some kids on campus? And again, I've been super impressed with how hard they work.
Enter rodeo coach Wyatt Clark, who took the reins of the program in 2023. He says it means a lot to have someone of Cook's stature backing his cowboys and cowgirls and helping out some fellow Huskers.
It's been an honor to have a legendary coach like John Cook be a part of our rodeo world, our roping world, and involved with these very deserving student athletes and getting his amazing input and presence and mentorship along for these students as well.
Clark is from Wellfleet, Nebraska, and he used to coach the Mid-Plains Community College rodeo team before saddling up and heading to Lincoln, Nebraska. Thanks to generous donors and Cook getting on his horse and riding, the future appears to be even brighter than it was. The UNL rodeo team is a part of the animal sciences right here at the University of Nebraska at Lincoln, but they've been fully embraced by the Husker athletic department. John Cook isn't the only Husker head man bringing attention to rodeo. Matt Rule hitched his wagon to the team in the summer, getting their help during a photo shoot aimed at football recruits. But it's Cook who's shining the bright light on the team and just how difficult it is to do what they do.
And like I tell the volleyball team, if you're a rodeo athlete, so it doesn't matter if you're a barrel racer, steer roper, team roper, it's all going to happen in 17 seconds or less. And you get one shot. So I'm like, that would be like we're going to tee it up against Penn State, and we're going to play 1 point. That's it, decide who wins and loses. You know, think of the pressure of that.
The next chapter of the rodeo team's story is in this field on East Campus, and it's still being written. Much more on that plot of land and Cook's impact on the sport of rodeo in a moment. But first, the 2025 Husker team is loaded with names that have become recognizable across the state and the entire country. One of those names, though, wasn't even known by the coaching staff until the 2005 National Player of the Year, Christina Hoteling Hudson, contacted Coach Cook.
And he's like, I've never heard of her. I was like, yeah, I don't know that many people have. but I know she's being looked at by these schools. You should probably take a look at her.
The Hall of Famer says once the coach saw Jackson play, he wanted her on the team.
He watched some film on her and he's like, yeah, she needs to be a Husker.
So I've learned so much, and Christina has been there every step of the way. She watches every game, will text me after every single game. So she's been super supportive through the entire thing, and I'm super grateful I have her to go through it, because if I ever have a question, I know I can ask her.
Andy Jackson is one of the many players that Christina Hoteling Hudson has coached.
She has such valuable input, not only about Nebraska, but about the whole recruiting process. She's been through it. She came from a small town as well, and I know that she has had trouble with injuries, and she's come back from those, been National Player of the Year, just done all these crazy awesome things.
We wrap up our story of John Cook riding into retirement and the future of his new favorite sport when we come back. Sponsor Pinner Bathing of Aurora once again, because without them, this broadcast wouldn't be possible. And stay with us for a special edition, a Big Red Rundown, coming up in just a matter of minutes. But now, back to Coach John Cook as he rides into retirement. And he looks to help the UNL rodeo team steer its way into the future, this time on campus.
We were at a party, there was a dummy, they bet me $100 I couldn't rope it, and I roped it.
John Cook got into horses while he was still leading the Husker volleyball team to Final Four appearances.
Somebody sent me a dummy. Somebody made a dummy out of like PVC pipe and showed up at Devaney. I have no idea who did it. They had a leather thing on it that said like Husker volleyball. And so I started roping in the Devaney. After practice, I'd go down there and rope, and some of the players would mess around, and that's kind of how it all started.
Isn't
Yeah.
that something?
And then I got invited to go to UNL rodeo, and it just took off from there.
But since retiring, he has fallen in love with rodeo.
It's an amazing sport. It happens really quick, and there's a lot of failure, and you got to learn how to be resilient. And I think that's something that really appeals to me.
Resilience is in Cook's DNA, and it's in the rodeo teams as well. Now, with the Husker Legends' help, plus a number of generous donors, a dream is close to becoming a reality. Where I'm standing right now is the future location of the UNL rodeo team's practice facility. It'll also be a place where they can keep their horses on campus. The future rodeo facility is designed to give the student athletes a place to practice and keep their four-legged friends on campus. And just as important to Cook, keep the students from leaving the Cornhusker stage.
I didn't wake up one morning thinking, oh, well, I got to go help these guys build a facility. It just kind of evolved over time, and it kept happening. And then the connections people I was meeting, and I kept hearing this story like, oh yeah, I competed in the rodeo team, but we had nothing, you know. And then, oh, I competed in rodeo, but I went to Eastern Wyoming, or I went to Tarleton State, or, you know, people went other places because we didn't have facilities. And I'm like, this is crazy. Why doesn't University of Nebraska have? The horse industry in this state is in the billions. And so why don't we have a rodeo team that has a facility? And so I just started meeting. It got momentum from there, and we got some guys to ante up. And then, of course, I was at the Burwell Rodeo.
UNL rodeo coach Wyatt Clark tells me that while this project has been in the making for several years, John Cook's interest and investment is a big part of why it's where it is today.
The story of the rodeo team goes back over 70 years, and I stepped in as rodeo coach in 2023, and Coach John Cook, building his passion with horses, roping, also directed a lot of attention to this facility and directed a gift to the facility as well. So really took this facility and the progress to its next step.
Clark says the 12-acre space will be for students to hone their skills on campus before and during their rodeo schedule each year.
With this new facility, it's going to open up the doors for the future students with horse boarding right here on East Campus, improved practice facilities, a spot for these students to have the facilities in the compound to excel like many of many other programs across the country.
Back at the Pitzer Ranch, Cook continues to practice his roping and riding and continue his push for Husker cowboys and cowgirls.
I meet all these kids that are working on ranches and farms out here. I see how hard they work. I see the ones that are on the UNL rodeo team. They have to do everything. You know, nobody does anything for them. And so I really admire and respect those kids. And probably because you just made me, it's the first time I've thought about this, because that's probably who I was when I was in junior high and high school. I was that kid who was working really hard and just appreciated everything that, you know, I had.
Thank you so much for joining us today. And I also want to say an extra special thank you to Jim and Tana Brinkman from Erickson, Nebraska, for giving me the opportunity to ride on their ranch and to ride one of the most amazing horses I've ever ridden. And if you want to see any of today's show again, I want to invite you to go to nebraska.tv and search Ginger's Journey. I'm Ginger Bensel.